All right, welcome back to another edition of the New Mexican Sports Podcast. I'm your sports editor, Will Weber, as always, joined by James Brown, the dressed-down version of James Brown, now that the state basketball tournament is over. And, James, that's always one of my favorite things, is seeing how nice you look during the state tournament. If you notice, I'm wearing the same sweatshirt I wore for last week's podcast. So I'm kind of like I'm like one of these weird geniuses who wears the same clothes every day. I've got like 4 shirts and 2 pairs of pants in my closet. So it's, if
It,
ever I,
it really makes interviews that much worse whenever you show up like that. Well, everybody just kind of gives you a wide berth.
Yeah, everyone just like if they invent a darker color than black, I'll wear it. But until then, I'm gonna continue wearing my black hoodie, whether it's 98 degrees or not. But look,
You're not
state
going to enjoy
tournament
it
was.
on Thursday or Friday when it gets to 90.
I'll still be wearing this waffled hoodie sweatshirt that I wear every day. James, look, a lot of really cool state tournament events. I know you and I saw a lot of different basketball games over the week. Some blowouts, a lot of really close games. And as always, I think my favorite part is the post-game interview session, because that's when the emotions are just completely raw. Whether you if you win or lose, everything just kind of pours out at that moment. But what to you stood out in the state tournament this last week?
I kind of like the Robertson interview after they lost to St. Mike's. It was like, yeah, they didn't beat us. They were scared of us. I was like, okay, that's an interesting way to go about it. But okay, all right.
Well, as the show unfolds, we'll talk more about our thoughts of the particular games and teams that we saw and then looking forward to next year. But for right now, we've got 3 guests lined up for today. All of them state champion coaches from last week, starting with the Santa Fe Indian School girls basketball team. Coach Jackson, thanks for joining us. Just an incredible run by your team. And I think going into the state championship game where you beat Navajo Prep, I think a lot of people were just thinking, well, they're just going to rubber stamp this thing for Navajo Prep. But your team played extremely well throughout the entire tournament. Just congratulations on the run. And what's the last few days been like for you carrying that blue trophy?
First off, thank you. It wasn't easy. Past few days have just been a lot of, reflecting. It's been a lot of messages flying back between my girls and I. Just a lot of emotions as well. Same time, like it's been pretty, not hectic, but pretty much congested in more of a positive way, such as like, seeing how the girls feel, seeing how I feel. Same time, it's been a lot of resting as well. I've been pretty much resting.
Did they give you a little bit of grace, like like a couple of days here where it's like, okay, we're not gonna dock you for missing a week's worth of school, but hey, by Wednesday or Thursday, let's pick it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's actually today as I go back to the school today this afternoon. So it's pretty much like, all right, like it's time to get back to reality.
What was that? What's that moment like? I mean, I think we were talking off the air here before, but you'd had that experience at Navajo Prep playing for a championship, but coming up short, and the last 2 years, obviously, getting into semis, and losing was kind of heartbreaking there. But when that moment finally comes and you realize it's happening, I mean, what goes through your mind in that instant?
Honestly, like shock a little bit, and then same time just like that breath of relief, because like you worked like pretty much all season. You've been working technically for 3 years with this program for me, and it's just like that breath of fresh air, like you finally did it type deal. And not only that, it's just like a wave of happiness, like overjoy, just because like, especially for one of my players, Cadence, her working since her freshman year, finally got her hand that blue trophy. So it's just like a lot of emotions, mainly happiness that rolls over, because like going from a high school experience losing by 1, like that, like just carries a weight on you. And like becoming a coach, you don't ever want your girls to feel like that type of point differential, and we did here. So I believe like, that was just on our mind as well. Like we're not trying to go feel that type of hurt again.
Yeah.
So it was just like that raw emotion as well.
Hey, Coach, gosh, I got the sense from you after the championship game that the 3 years you've been there have not been exactly, a tiptoe through the tulips. There's been challenges for you, because I think everyone's knee-jerk reaction is, well, it's Indian school, you have oodles of talent, you can just win automatically. It's not as easy as just showing up every day, is it?
No, it actually isn't. It's just the fact of like, rebuilding these kids, they come in with like a 50% chance with their confidence levels, like if they're coming off of a good day or if they're coming off of a bad day, and we don't want it to trickle in. Like, so we also take that like life lessons, like, hey, there's days where you're not going to want to get up, you're not going to want to get out of bed, you're not going to want to go to work, but you're going to have to find whatever's in you to make sure that you get those things done. Because if you want the future that you're dreaming of or that you desire and manifest, like, you're going to have to get through those days. So it's a lot, like, but also just for them to take away like that life skill, like, hey, like there is still somebody like backing me up, and there's somebody that's there watching me, just to give them that like motivation to get stuff done. It's just relieving. I guess that's the only word to use.
What's that whole week like? I mean, really, when you start from Saturday, you play the first round game the week before, all the way through the following Saturday when you get to that championship game. I mean, I don't know if people understand how much of a grind it is for the players and for the coaches. I mean, you think, it's just 3, maybe 4 hours out of your life, and then you can kind of go on, but it's really not like that, is it?
No, actually, it takes a lot of planning, especially because most of the time we would leave like on a Monday evening. So I'm trying to, over the weekend, get their schedule planned, like our practice times, where we're going to practice, plan out like what we're going to eat, because I don't want them to eat something like drastic or heavy the day before. Not only that, getting them off their phones, getting them in bed. So it's like a lot of planning, and then also keeping them motivated. Like, our end goal is this, and if we're on this day, we have to keep going in order to get to this day. So it's just like a lot of planning. It's more than like how you said, the 3 to 4 hours. That's basically almost, I want to say, a 16-hour day, just trying to shuttle them and get them ready, mentally. Because sometimes it does mentally take a toll on some of them, especially with how much pressure they're dealing with, and how much pressure like we carry as like a unit. So it's about a 16-18 hour day. Like, as a coach, you don't get a lot of sleep because you're worried about like a kid that's not yours, but you're making them yours, and like they become like that one unit with your family. So it's a lot. And it was hectic, it was busy, but once like it's all over, you realize how worth it was.
Gosh, I talked to Rainey Crisp a couple times throughout the tournament too, but she has the utmost respect for you. But what was it like playing for her back in the day? Because after the championship game, I think she was as happy as for you as a losing coach could be in that moment, because there's a lot of emotions for her. But what was it like playing for her?
Rainy. No, I'm just kidding. No. It was good. It was a different environment, an environment that you wouldn't expect like a high competing class to like have. Like, you would expect them to be like, well, we have a 6 a.m. right after school, you have like weightlifting and like kind of like a college type program. But like with her, she took the time to like get to know kids. She got the time to know me, and I didn't even know she knew of me at the time. So it was fun. It was a lot of work, along with pressure that she did bring to help us like wait for those moments and prepare for those moments that come about. So it was tough as well. So she showed you like that leniency, like, I understand like you're a student, but you also made this commitment. So it was like a high expectation, a high standard. We always tell her, like, kind of during alumni games where she has them, like, do you miss us, like, do you miss coaching us? And she's just like, no, I don't miss the headaches, but I know we were a headache to her.
Speaking of Rainy and everything, you know, uh, it could have been hard, especially if you hadn't coached against her. What was the experience like when you're at Crown Point and you were district foes and you saw each other 2 or 3 times out of the year? Does that kind of take that, I don't know, the nervousness or the edge off of seeing her, even in a state championship type of environment?
Um, I think like the first time, like when I did see her, which was at our tournament, I was nervous because, like, having that 3-year gap or that 3-year break of not playing her, like not seeing her, like, oh, okay, like comparing districts, like they're like both of our districts are tough at the end of the day. Like it's anybody's night, especially if they're on. So the first time I was nervous, this championship game time, I wasn't ready, but I feel like I like over prepared myself, but I think I prepared myself just enough. So I'm kind of like on the fence with that. But with us, it's always going to be that loving relationship. Doesn't matter who wins, who loses. With her, it's always that mutual respect, or even higher. We're always going to give each other like our credit and give each other our flowers. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but at the end of the day, I'm like thinking like, if we were in this type of situation, like she would automatically think like her girls, like she's worked just as hard as me. So at the end of the day, like it's just the utmost respect for her and everything.
I talked to a couple of kids afterwards about the environment that the pit provides, but for your game, there was probably 10,000 people at the start, and by the end of the game, it was about 14,000 people. It's one thing to play in a high school gym, and the Indian school always draws pretty well. But what was that like for you have a bunch of 15, 16, 17-year-old kids in your team. You're playing in front of a crowd that's bigger than most of the cities in the state of New Mexico. What's that like?
It's nerve-wracking a little bit, just because you're like, I know like multiple people probably came for multiple games, but you're like sitting there like thinking like these people came to watch a game, like we want to for sure give them a game. It's also feeling like electric, especially like how much like fans we had as well, because I went back to a couple of videos, and I think in the moment I was just like kind of worried about the game, trying to get my words across to the girls, because I knew it was just going to be loud. But like going back and watching those videos and hearing them like chanting, them cheering, I was just like, holy cow, like it sent like kind of chills down my body still, because like it was really loud and I wouldn't be surprised if you could hear it like outside.
You know, I know you talk. I think you kind of mentioned that at times during this run about the relationship that you have with the boys and everything, and the fact that you guys are both on the same journey and everything. When they're coming off the court after that tough loss to St. Mike's, does that have an impact on you or on the girls and everything? Seeing them kind of come up short like that just before you have to play the biggest game of the year?
It did, just because like we were, both cheering like throughout pretty much the season, and I feel like us iterating and us getting a lot closer, like especially like of our history, there was that separation, but I feel like this year, like the boys and girls kind of came hand in hand. And like whenever they had games, the girls were wanting to support. Whenever we had games, the boys were wanting to go support. So it was just that endless support. And them coming off the court, them feeling like upset. Like we were just so proud of them about the fight that they put. Like just despite the late start that they had, like we knew that they were gonna come back and make it like a game for sure. And we know that we always do. So just that support for them, and we wanted to bring home not only for like our beta brothers, but we wanted to bring it home for them, because we saw like how much like the boys work this season, like what work they put in, like the emotions and everything. So it's a win for all of us at the school, and it's a win for them as well, because they were just in the stands cheering just as hard as we were for them each and every game. So the biggest thing is that like we wanted them to feel some type of joy for us, and at the end of the game, like them giving us hugs, high fives, their handshakes with the girls, like we knew like they left on a good note as well, and they played as hard as they could. So it was a good thing to see, and to bring that win home, not just for us but for everybody, it felt really good.
Yeah, the emotions of the Abeta brothers. I know you mentioned that during the state tournament too. Just the influence. Like everyone talks about what the impact had on the boys team, but look, it's a family. It's a boarding school at the Indian school. But what was that like? Just to win, knowing that the school, the community, everyone that involved with the Indian school had to go through the last 10, 11, 12 months.
It's been emotional. It's been a wave of happiness and sadness. We talk about it, we cry about it. It's been like moments that we just had, like talking amongst coaches, ADs, pretty much everybody, even the girls. So like moments where we would see them in the gym or they're joking around with the girls, or like stuff that they would say like after either games, or like stuff that they would see like one of the girls falling. So they would automatically bring up like something like Nate would say or something Jason would say. So it was like nerve-wracking, it was emotional, but it was like that feeling of giving back to them as if they were there. So we know that they were like watching, cheering their hardest, being happy, because that was like one thing that they talked about every single year was like, hey, let's bring home that blue. We're going to bring home that blue. One of us bring home that blue. That's still a win for everybody. So it just feels like that dedication was fulfilled. But I mean, there is room for more to give back because of all the years that they gave to the kids. And one thing is that they supported the kids at the end of the day. Like, it didn't matter like what the situation was. It was always the kids first with them. So they made sure that, every kid was felt touched and felt loved by them. So they never like left any kids out.
Coach, you mentioned before, you remember the loss that you had in the state championship game to Laguna when you were playing at Navajo Prep, and you didn't want the girls to feel that again. But at the same time, I mean, you go back to last year and the fact that you guys were basically a minute away from getting to the state championship game, and then West goes on that run, they win, they go on to the state championship, and you don't. I mean, I don't know if that's similar to that, but I got to imagine the pain is just as bad, because you felt like you'd finally gotten over that hump there against West, first of all, and then it kind of got away from you. And I'm sure the girls, even in that moment, it was probably pretty devastating for them and helped them in this situation when they get back a year later.
Oh yeah, and it definitely did. Especially with my returning girls, like they wanted to make sure that they didn't feel that type of hurt again, because it doesn't matter losing by 1 or 2, like that hurt them. And us going like on spring break in April, like them coming back to school, and that was like a very sensitive topic for them. Like nobody wanted to watch it. I didn't want to talk about it. The girls didn't want to talk about it. They had a hard time turning in their jerseys. Because they sat there and watched that Friday game as well. Like, and them sitting there like questioning and talking about like that should have been us. Like, what did we do? And going on from there, it just like it took a toll on them. It really did. So using like Nate and Jay as well, and our other coaches, like just trying to like talk to them, like telling them like, hey, like, there's, I mean, I hate to say it like there's next year, but now is your time to like wake up and see like how hard you guys have to work in order to get there. Just having those like talks with them, and then moving it on into the summer, because we finally like broke down the film, and I told them like, we have to get over this hump and kind of watch it if you guys don't want to feel like that. And so I know with the bracket, we were sort of unhappy with it just because we had to see Robertson for the 5th time. And, just talking with the girls, like giving them that mentality, like if they want to see a district game live, let's let them see one. And getting over that hump, like, hey, like we've been here before to where we had to play somebody in our own district, which was last year. Like, we don't want those feelings to happen. Cadence, Anna, and Tiny were a big influence on the team as well, to telling them like, we didn't come this far just to go home, so we have to work extra hard. And we talked about it, game plan, especially my coaches and I, like we dug deep on trying to figure out like how we could get back to technically the first game when we played Robertson, because it was a pretty big gap in between the point spread. So we did a lot of digging and it was worth it, just because they got over that hump. And I feel like them getting over the semifinals and getting into that championship game was like, we're technically the team to do it. And the girls like believed in that, and that was like instilled in them from that win all the way until that Friday game.
Coach, we're about to bring in the Mesa Vista girls coach here, but one last question for you before we head off. What do you do for an encore now that you're a state champion coach? You have a state champion team, and no one can ever take that away from you. But what are you going to do for us next year?
Oh, I'm bring another one up. We're already planning on it.
Never stops, does it, Coach? Right?
No.
Coach Jackson, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. It was fun. It's always love watching the Indian school girls, because it's one thing to have Espanola get to the state championship game because they bring their fans, but it's completely different when one of the girls teams from the Indian schools, the Navajo Preps, the Kirtland Centrals, the Shiprocks, Santa Fe Indian School, because it really electrifies the state tournament, and it's fun to see it. And we're both happy for you.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we're back now with our next guest, who's from Mesa Vista, the head coach of the girls basketball program, who won a dramatic state championship game against Tatum on Friday night, right after Indian School won their state championship. So I'm here with Jesse Boies, is it your 5th or 6th year as head coach there at Mesa?
I'm like at 4.5 right now.
4.5? Yeah, that's right. That's right, because you came in halfway through the 21-22 season and everything, but. It was the first state championship for the girls program, and obviously your first state championship as a head coach there for you, Jesse, and everything. First of all, thanks for coming on here, and again, congratulations on winning your state title and everything.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. It's been a wild ride, let me tell you.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start this off, man. Like, it's one thing to win on a last-second shot to win a state championship, but when the person who did it is the one who got you there, I can't even imagine what's going through your mind at that point. Explain to me in with using an easel with crayons. Tell me exactly what is going through your mind at that point, man.
When that shot went up, man, I was like, no, that's not what we drew up. That is not what we drew up, man. And Aubrey was actually backdoor. She was actually backdoor open on the backside. And no, Aaliyah knew what she was gonna do and what she wanted to do, and she had ice in her veins, man, and let it fly. And God willing, it went in.
When that shot in the air, were you thinking she's got this, or were you just kind of holding your breath like everybody else was?
Actually, I had seen the play out, or that we drew up. And I looked at the time because I remember looking up at the score clock, and when I looked back, she had the ball in her hand, and it was already getting released from her hand. And I just said, "Here we go," and I kind of bent backwards. I think I kind of bent backwards, like, "Oh man, come on!" Yeah. And it dropped, man.
Hey, your track and field coach posted a video on social media. He was standing in the student section when the shot went up, and there's this complete chaos. That to me, I think is one of my favorite parts, is because the players kind of have to remain composed. For the most part, the coaches have to do that. But you get that perspective of what it's like in the student section. Everyone was just losing their minds. What was it? What was it like, the reaction when you get back to Ojo Caliente, when you see everyone? Because that's a small town that loves its hoops, but you must have been treated like you just found the cure for the common cold.
It was amazing, man. We picked up a parade there in Arroyo Seco outside of Espanola. We met there at 2:00. We had probably about 50, 60 cars waiting for us. I'm part of a car club, so we drove up, and there was about 4 or 5 lowriders, some Harley Davidsons, about 15 cops, some fire department. And it was just amazing. We went through Espanola. There was people on the side of the road standing there with signs saying "Puro Mesa" and "Good job, girls." And all the girls had their heads out the windows. Went through Espanola, went out towards Mesa Vista, and all the route there. We had people on the side of the roads with signs and people honking at us. And we got to Mesa Vista, and man, it was just, these girls were treated like the royalty, man. We even painted on the back of the bus "Queens of the North," so they were actually treated like queens.
Oh, that's awesome! And I actually saw the video because you posted it on Facebook and everything, and that was wild just to see, some of the lowriders there and the motorcycles. Yeah. And just, I mean, they were all waiting for you, and this is Sunday. This is about Sunday afternoon. You guys, it's been Saturday there, just kind of basking in the glow. Well, first let me ask you that about Saturday. What do you do when you don't have a game, and you can just enjoy things?
It was just kind of on Friday night, our AD and our super went into the locker room to congratulate us and the girls, and in our heads, we thought we were going home on Saturday since the boys had lost on the night, a couple nights before. We were like, all right, well, so heck yeah, we get to go home tomorrow. Let's get out of Albuquerque. I'm pretty tired. The girls are tired. And no, they're like, no, coach, no. We're getting you guys an extra night. You guys deserve it. Sleep in, eat breakfast, enjoy the day, go watch basketball, go to Top Golf, do what you guys want to do. And it's all on us. And so then we were like, well, all right, cool. So I told the girls on Friday night, you guys don't get kicked out of the hotel. Don't get arrested. Don't leave the hotel. You want to stay up all night? You guys can stay up all night, I said. And I think some of them really did, though. Saturday came around. We got up. We told them we're going to leave. The bus leaves at noon. We're going to go have some good lunch and plan our day. And, yeah, they straggled down, and they had the championship hangover, man.
I saw you right after the boys game, and that was devastating. It's because I think there's so many expectations for both the boys and the girls. But when I saw you right after the boys game, I kind of made the comment like, now it's your show. But that's a lot of pressure to carry into a state tournament when the boys are out. Everyone's like, come on, it's up to you now to carry the load for us.
Our boys, man, I just felt so bad for them. They had a spectacular run. They had a phenomenal season. I told them, don't hang your heads on anything, man. It was just kind of a shocker. You know what I mean? It was kind of a shocker, I think, to not just the northern New Mexico, but kind of the whole state as kind of expected that, hey, this is going to be it. Both boys and girls could possibly do it. And that's just the way the ball bounced, though, man. And I give props to them. Coach T just had a heck of a year. That guy's a great guy, amazing AD. I just felt bad for them. They worked so hard for it. But I saw Will, and we were walking out, and he did say that. He's all, now it's your turn. It's your turn. Yeah. And kind of sunk in. After we left there, I kind of got to the room, and I was like, oh, man, it is our turn now. Now it's our turn. And the pressure, it's always there. You know what I mean? So us going in, we're expecting it. We're ready for it. I kind of try to keep it away from the girls as much as possible, put it on my shoulders. And we took care of business, man. We went into that semifinal game against Laguna, a tough Laguna team. And they gave us all we could handle for a while, and we broke them down, and then it was on to the next. So it was a wild ride, man.
It's funny. We kind of alluded to it, just how tough it was on Wednesday for them to lose that game when they had a 21-point lead. But you kind of flipped the script there. I mean, you're down 9 with 3.5 minutes left, and I think a lot of us were thinking, man, it's not looking good. You had to have a lot of things go right, and I think the biggest thing was obviously, their free throw shooting, not being able to make them, and it gave you that opening that you needed to get back into the game.
And honestly, man, I every time out we'd come into, or every break at the end of the quarter, whatever was happening, when I get the girls in a little circle there, I just kept reminding them, hey, we're still in this. We still have time. And our saying is that you got to go all 32 minutes to beat this team. This team doesn't like to lose. Aaliyah doesn't like to lose. Aubrey does not like to lose. And they figured out a way. I just said, hey, our shots are getting there. We're getting the open shots. They're just not falling. I said, but our run hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen. It has to happen. And man, it happened at the right time. Started by Aubrey, and everyone just followed, man. And I just told Aubrey, keep shooting, Aubrey. Keep shooting. It is going to come. It's going to fall. It's going to fall, Aubrey. And she believed the process. At the beginning of the year, this Aubrey probably wouldn't have kept shooting. Mm-hmm. Should have missed her few shots here and there and kind of slowed down on the shooting. But she's grown so much as a player that she thinks of it as next play mentality. And that's what we've preached all year. And it came into play. She thought next play mentality. And I think she had 7 of the 12, I think, on that run.
That's right. Yeah.
And Valerie did some clutch rebounds and a clutch putback. And then Aaliyah took care of business, keeping us in the game the whole time and hit that final shot. And this team just never gave up. They're them dogs that just so you beat them down and they're not moving anymore. Then okay, you won. But these girls don't give up.
Yeah, Coach, there's a certain romance with the state basketball tournament that people just fall in love with pretty easily. But I think it's at the small school level, the 2A, the 1A schools. You're in this one school type town where a certain sport, it just means absolutely everything to them. But Mesa Vista is a school that doesn't have football. And it seems like so much of the focus year in and year out for a generation or more has been on basketball. And so it seems whenever you have any measure of success in hoops, boys or girls, it's amplified and the entire community comes out. But it's got to be such a special feeling knowing that not only did you answer the bell, but you came home with the trophy.
Oh yeah, man. This community they've deserved it for so long, man. I think the last one was in '97 with my assistant coach, actually, Moises. He was on the team, a senior, him and Gary Gallegos. It was a boys championship, but ever since then, they've had the teams. I think 2000 was a good team. I think they got third. 2003 was another championships team, but they got second. And then kind of they were still good all throughout the years competing and stuff. And the community was just kind of waiting, like, all right, guys, when it's going to be our turn. So one of these times it's going to be our turn. And then we got to Mesa Vista and the expectations just went through the roof about 5 years ago with my older daughter and all that crew. Yeah. And I think everyone expected us to bring one home, at least one of those teams. And it's not easy to win a championship, man. I wish it was, but if it was, everybody would have one. And you just got to grind it out and build the foundation. And this community deserved it for so long. They've supported us so much. They've been to all our games. They pack that gym. They go to Espanola for the NRGs, and I think there's about 3,000 plus people there every championship game, semifinal game. And this was the year that kind of people are like, kind of not writing us off, I would say. It was kind of a year that it was going to be like, Mesa Vista is going to be good, but they're young. They'll be good in a year or two. And holy moly, it was the year that we went all the way and took it. And I think that's what helped us is these girls were so young that they didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. They just knew they wanted to work hard. They've seen the older girls work hard and they had no fear. They weren't old enough really to know that there is fear or pressure, and they just went in hard and did their thing, man.
I think I asked you this maybe before the state tournament and everything, and I kind of talked about 2 years ago when you guys lost to Tularosa. I don't think you guys are ready necessarily for that physicality that they sent you. And then last year, Pecos. I mean, they had Natalia, and that was such a hard matchup for you guys there to defend. And I think I mentioned that this year it seems like there really isn't anybody out there you're like, oh my gosh, we have to defend her. We have to defend them. I mean, and if anything, really, it was you guys that kind of had that target on your back because of Aaliyah and everything. What's that like when all of a sudden you have, and I think it proved out on Friday, when you have the best player on the court as opposed to having to defend the best player on the court?
Yeah, we going in when we left Mesa Vista on our last day of practice last Monday, we got in a huddle, we did our thing, and I told the girls, hey, remember, they adjust to us now. We don't adjust to anybody. We keep playing our game. We keep doing what we do. I said, you go be you. Go do what you've done all year long, and we're going to be all right. And I think they did a dang good job of it. Usually I'm the one that's there game planning with my assistant coaches, and like Natalia Stout, we completely came up with a whole different defense just to defend her at the state tournament. And year before they had, I forgot the girls' names, but Tularosa had kind of the same matchups. And we had our dogs in it too. Don't get me wrong. We had our dogs with Shanae and Bella and Tana and those girls. But we just, that physicality, like you mentioned, that just always got to us and would always take us down. And so last year at this time, we were already starting to plan our summer, and because we were out so early in the tournament, and we got the teams that just were going to beat us up, man. We scheduled stuff with teams that just were going to tear us down to nothing, and we rebuild back up and become the dogs, and that's what they did, and they kept that toughness about them all year long. I think I saw you at the Espanola Classic or the NRG, and I told you the difference with this team is they're mentally tough and they're physically tough. They like to, if you want to get down and dirty and bang with us, we'll do the same back with you, and it worked out, and that's what you got to do at the end. Sometimes you just got to grind it out and go hard, and this team knew how to do that.
Please tell me you have gotten a free meal since you gotten home, because you shouldn't be able to. You should walk into any restaurant and get a free meal for doing what you did.
Honestly, man, we have had a ton of free meals, man. It's been amazing. A ton of free shirts. People are giving us shirts, and it's just been amazing, man. It's I was so ready to get out of Albuquerque though and stop eating fast food and Cheesecake Factory or whatever we were eating, and just get a nice red chili enchilada with beans, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was that your first meal when you got home?
Yeah, it was. And that's actually what they served at the school when we drove in. They had
Nice
enchiladas that fed 300 and homemade beans, some rice, a nice little biscuit, and it was good, man.
best home cooked meal you've had, huh?
Yeah. 5 days away was a little too long, man.
What was I asked Khadijha about this, just in that moment when the buzzer sounds and you realize you've done it and everything. What that moment is like for you? And I was kind of curious about that when that buzzer goes off.
It was just a range of emotions, man. It kind of just it's basically what goes through here is just like with me. It was like everything has finally just come to what was worked so hard for. You know what I mean? Like we've been through the meal. We've been through it with the when I took over, with the sadness that happened there. We've been through it with the losses, and it's just you want it so bad. You want it so bad. You put in the work. The girls have put in the work, and seeing the girls' smiles and stuff, and jumping up and down, and me jumping up and down, and it's just a moment that I took in. And I just looked around, and I was just like, man, we did it. Like, we finally did it. Like, all the hard work has paid off, and all the grind has paid off, and everything we've been through has it's finally here, and it all worked out for our better now. And it was just a feeling it's unexplainable. Actually, it's kind of unexplainable, where you literally feel the weight off your shoulders, and you see the community. You're proud of them. You see the little kids. There was little kids that were on our bench and on the sidelines all year long, and you kind of do it like for all of them, and now they're like, you see girls, like little girls that are 4th and 5th graders, and they're like, I want to be a Lady Trojan coach. Can you be around when I'm playing, and this and that, and it just all goes into one emotional roller coaster, and it's just like you're just so grateful, man.
Yeah, just the way that game ended. My goodness, that's. I think 20 years from now, that shot's going to be from the logo with 4 people on her, and she was like fighting a Willis Reed injury. But that ending is legendary for the rest of your life, the rest of the girls' lives. Yeah. That's going to be a moment that everyone remembers, which is a very cool feeling. Not a lot of people experience what you did, especially the dramatic ending that it happened. It's just incredible.
And I told Aaliyah, I said, you have practiced this shot 1,000 times. I said, so don't, when people come up and say, oh, what a nice shot, but it had to have been luck. Yeah, there was luck in it. You have to have a little bit of luck to even win a state championship. You know what I mean? But I've seen that little girl out at our basketball court out here in Medinales, New Mexico, all summer long last year, or even on warm days here in the winter. She is out there with her earbuds in her ear and just shooting some long range shots. And I even hear her sometimes where she's like, 3, 2, 1, and she lets it fly. And this was your moment that I can't even say like a lot of college athletes have ever experienced, or even NBA players have ever experienced. You lived a moment that a lot of us as coaches and ex-players wish they would have had the opportunity for them, and you drilled it. I said, so man, I was like, you keep that head up, and you savor this moment. So, and I told her, and I don't know if I pointed up to the sky. I said, man, thank you, God. I said, thank you. That woo.
Incredible.
Do you think Leonard had God's ear a little bit there too?
Oh yeah, man. Him and I had talked about this moment for years and years and years, and guaranteed.
Yeah, what's the off season like? Because I know that the losing teams have more motivation to go home and just start jacking up shots, but now the expectations of the world are cast upon you. What's the next 6-7 months going to be like?
I'll be honest with you, man. We were on the bus coming home to our parade, and Aubrey and Aaliyah and Jordan Serrano, a few other girls came up to me and they're like, Coach, so there's a tournament coming up in 2 weeks, I think, in Albuquerque. Like, no, dude. I said, not yet. Let's give it at least 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. But the expectations are coming in. We have it's an exciting time to be in our school. We have 3 8th graders that were phenomenal all season. We have Charlene Archuleta that got minutes in the state championship game, and she's going to be a dog just like Aaliyah and Aubrey and those girls, man. She's going to be a big time player. We have Lando Alides. That's Lando Alides' niece, and then we have his daughter Christy. She's a big girl coming in. So we have a lot of young youth, and we have our freshmen that were there this year, and it's kind of sad we lose Val and Jas, man. These two seniors are probably some of my favorite seniors that I've ever had the privilege of coaching. And Val just came through big time, man, in that championship game there. She was quiet. She went 6 of 8 free throws, got a put back at the end, and I think she had like 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds. She came in clutch, man, and it's exciting times. We're 6-7 months from now, though. We're gonna do what we do every year. We're gonna come in grinding, put them through the mill again, get them the experience of the Colorado teams. We like going out to Colorado and banging with those big girls out there and letting them rough us up, and just get better. Come try to run it back and bring it back home.
You know, Coach, I actually got an email late last night, early this morning about Jordan, and that I didn't realize this, but she has a sister that played for Navajo Prep, Natalia, who's over there. And I'm like, well, how did you not get her there, man? I mean, come on. How do you get one and not the other?
So me and her dad were cousins. His name's Nathan Serrano. He was a beast back in his day. In 2003, he was an animal. And her mom, Jordan's mom, Rihanna Harris, she played at the collegiate level. She was a D2 player. She was with Metro State there in Denver. So out of all the whole team, Jordan Serrano has the bloodline of greatness, like of complete greatness, and can become that. You know what I mean? So we're excited for her. But with Taya, her nickname's Taya. Every time I see her, like back in 2-3 years ago, I'm like, so when you come to Mesa Vista, girl, when are you gonna come over? And no, she loves her Navajo Prep girls, which you can't complain. You have Rainey over there, and that's a solid program. But Jordan was just like, you know what, man, like I'm going back to the north and back to the roots, and we got one of them. We didn't get both of them, so we're blessed with Jordan, man.
You know, you made both of us feel old when you brought up Londo Elitas' name. It shows you how long James and I have been around. Like I remember, like yesterday when he was still playing at Espanola. Man,
man, that guy, he's still. So get this. Last summer we had him. I invited him over to our open gym, and we had the girls scrimmaging back and forth, and we had the alumni my Bella boys and Shanae Silva and all those girls, Brittany Swaz, all of them came over to play against this current team. And it was just an open gym kind of deal. We put a scoreboard just to scrimmage, and our girls were our current team was kind of working the alumni 17, I think 16, whatever it was. And Londo walks in the gym. So I told him, hey, you want to run? He's like, now? I was like, yeah. And he's all, hey, you know me. He always has basketball shorts on. Pulled his pants off, had his basketball shorts on under, and jumped on the alumni game, and that dude still has it, man. I think he went off for like 9 3-pointers, man. and he brought the alumni back and beat our current team, so it was cool to see, man.
Oh, that is cool, man. It's nice to see that the old folk can still bring it, huh?
Oh yeah, and he's one of our loudest and wildest fans, man. He's a good time.
You know what's interesting is that you're not going to be able to defend your state title next year in 2A because you guys are dropping down to single A. And I mean, I know that, you know, single A is a lot like 2A. I mean, especially with those southern schools and their big girls and everything. You know, what's your approach next year? I mean, I got to think, you know, especially with this younger group that you've got, you're going to be one of the favorites in single A. But, you know, how does that change? I mean, especially like, say, scheduling and everything, because now it's like, you know, you got to prepare for a different group.
Yeah, so we're gonna still hit the Eunice tournament. We love that tournament because it had Logan in it. We met Logan this last December. They beat us by, I think, 1 or 2 in overtime. We missed 15 free throws that game, so if we had just hit one of them, we wouldn't even gone into overtime. But learning process. But I think we just start. We keep the same mentality. We know that it might even get a little bigger, like with size of girls that these girls are going to be going up against. But we stick to what we do best, and that's pressure and run you into the ground and be physical and go hard at them, man. We're excited for it. I kind of took me a while to wrap my head around that whole going 1A thing and stuff, but I have, and I'm good with it. I'm gonna miss 2A, of course. 2A's lit, man. That's I love 2A, but we're gonna bring the heat to 1A. We're gonna come in working hard to 1A. try to run it back. And we know that you look at the 1A, I think, state tournament bracket this year, and I think 1 through 8, most of the teams had only lost like 4 games or something, 3-4 games. I think Magdalena, all the way down to Roy Mosquero, Logan, Fort Sumner. There's some loaded squads in 1A, so we're coming in expecting to be a favorite to be there, but we know we're going to encounter some of the top dogs of 1A that are going to welcome us with a hopeful beatdown on their part, but it's not going to happen, man.
I don't know what it is about every time I come to the pit, there's always that guy in that green cart driving right behind me.
Yeah, I know. Well, he knows you already, man.
Yeah,
That's why he's driving around there.
That gator that he drives around is so loud. That's why I keep having to mute my my microphone.
He's wanting his
The guy just keeps doing laps right in front of me, and it's like, God, good night.
He's still waiting for his interview, Will. I mean, you've been avoiding him all this time.
Yeah.
He just wants 5 minutes, okay?
Just the struggles of work, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, Coach. I guess one last thing for me and everything is just especially, and I think we talked a little bit about your daughter, but the fact that it was your daughter that made that shot, and she's basically, I mean, I think you talked about it about halfway through the year. I think it was pretty much everybody knew she was the leader of that team and everything. But what's that like for you when she's already established herself as one of the best players in the state, at such a young age, and she's going to be back as a bunch of these girls are.
Yeah, she. I think it just to be her dad and her coach at the same time. At first it was kind of like with Bella. It's a process that you have to figure out and tread lightly on. You know what I mean? But what she pulled off this year and even last year, but coming into it this year, and I knew the expectations that I had for her, and I know because I won't put expectations on her that I know she won't reach. You know what I mean? I'm realistic, and I know that goes for the rest of the team. And I'll push you to the limit that I know where you're going to max out at. And there was times where I was, Aaliyah, you got to give me more. I said, you got to give me more, girl. And she'll look at me and be like, are you serious? Are you freaking serious? I just scored 20 points and had 8 steals. And you want more from me? And I was like, Aaliyah, I'm just prepping you. This was like in January. We went through a few moments there. And I was like, I'm just prepping you for March. I said, come March, I have to have you at the best physically, mentally. I have to have you at the best. And she trusted the process and she did her thing. And I couldn't be more proud of her, man. She stepped into a role of being a leader as a freshman, and that's not easy to do when you have seniors and juniors still and sophomores. Isabella Gallegos is another monster in there. And she did her thing and she did it on and off the court, which was amazing. I love that. And you see her with the little kids at Mesa Vista and she respects them all. She goes up and hugs them and they all look up to her. And I see special things happening, not only for her, but for the rest of the team, but for her. It's already started happening. We had a call from like the New Mexico Clippers. Carl Reinhardt, the coach, invited her to jump on the Clippers squad this summer. And some Phenom basketball club that they play in San Diego and stuff invited her. And I told her, hey, this is your time to do your thing and go expose yourself. And you've earned it. You've earned all this and you've put in the work. And so it's exciting for her. And I said, but you're still Mesa Vista. You're still here. Come June, we get back to work. We get back to the lab, and you'll be ready.
Well, Coach, we're really happy for your family, for you, for the entire city, for the entire village of Ojo Caliente. It's been an incredible run. So, just the way it ended, it's a memory that I know James and I will keep for forever. And I know as well. But
I appreciate you guys, man. You guys always do an awesome job and always cover the good stuff. And we love you guys and we thank you guys for everything.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a break. Bring in Dakota Montoya from St. Mike's here in just a minute.
Well, if you're waiting to hear from our third installment of our interviews today with St. Michael's head boys basketball coach Dakota Montoya, You're going to be disappointed, at least with the video portion of this. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we lost the video part and roughly about half of the interview as well on the audio side. So it's going to cut off rather abruptly. With that said, we do apologize for that, but we hope you enjoy the rest of this interview, and we'll follow up here with a closing goodbye regarding this podcast.
All right, we're back from a break, and look, our last guest today is the head coach of the Class 3A Boys State Champion, Dakota Montoya of St. Michael's High School. Dakota, congratulations on a heck of a run. I know there's a ton of expectations on your team, and all you did is answer the bell every single time. So good job. You got to feel like the weight of the world is off your shoulders, at least for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was definitely a relief, a lot of fun, and a great reward for a ton of hard work. It was a really good feeling, really awesome feeling for sure.
I'm just kind of curious, these last few days, especially after going through that grind that whole week and everything, and we know how tough that is, but what do you do? How do you decompress or kind of recharge, I guess, because especially as an AD, you still got stuff that you got to do, for the spring, and it's going to be pretty busy even then.
Yeah, heading to baseball today, actually. Baseball and softball today, actually. So, no, just relaxing, spending as much time just off my feet, enjoying watching TV, hanging out with family. That's the main thing. Last couple of days, sleeping a lot, as much as I can, But for the most part, just trying to slow down, I think, a little bit, and like you said, decompress, get back to normal, and it's just trying to it's real nice, and at the same time real challenging at times getting rest. I mean, I appreciate so many people reaching out and congratulating me and the team, and it's been really awesome. But it's at the same time, I'm the type person who I appreciate all that support, and it truly means a ton to me. So I'm trying to get back to everybody the best I can, So just trying to do that, but at the same time, relax and decompress and try to catch up on a little bit of family time with the young ones and the wife.
Yeah, I know. See, when you say decompress, like here's how I decompress after a long week of basketball. I don't want to watch a single minute of basketball when I get home. I'll do anything. Like I got home, my wife wants to watch the rest of the conference tournaments when I get home on Saturday. I just want to go watch Star Wars or something. I just want to get away. What's it like for you? How do you decompress? Do you get away from sports entirely? What do you do?
Yeah, truthfully, I did rewatch our championship game just to try just to relive it, I guess, and try to learn and see what we did right, see what we need to improve on. But aside from that, I have not watched any sports, and truthfully, I've been watching a ton of movies and a lot of outdoors type of stuff. Hunting, I really like to hunt, so it's kind of my next season, I guess, for me is getting ready to just relax, and I like being in outdoors and seeing the different types of views. So that's kind of what I've been doing the last couple of days, especially now that I've been at home. Is I have not watched any sports. You're absolutely right.
Good for you.
Is it just too much to take? Even like watching the World Baseball Classic or something like that, just be like, yeah, it's just a little too intense right now.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Sadly, I haven't caught a game of that. I'm truly surprised with that, actually. But I might try to catch a championship tonight. I think it's tonight with Venezuela.
Yeah,
so might try to catch that, But like I said, I actually do have to go into Santa Fe today, and we got a couple baseball games and then some softball today. First softball games for us today. So we're getting back into the swing, especially with these spring sports. But it's a little less pressure and a little bit more just enjoying sports now.
Man, the championship game for you guys, for the most part, you're in control all the way through. I know they came back, tied it a couple times, but you just felt like it seemed like you played like the number one seed, aside from the free throw shooting. You played like the number one seed the entire time. I mean, you have to be thrilled to death with the way things went, aside from the free throw shooting there, don't you?
Yeah. No, it was a lot different, especially when you talk about in regards to last year to this year, not only for the team, but for me. I was a lot more relaxed. This was kind of we've been here, done this. Let's just execute and finish, you know. And I think for the team, it was a very similar mindset and very similar focus. As we were here last year, we know what we do. We know our routines. We know what time we got to wake up for breakfast and get out the door and get to the pit, and so everything was just slower. Like I said in my first interview, it was just a lot more comfortability, a lot more relaxed, and just familiarity, which we were lucky to be and blessed to be there last year. We just didn't finish the job, but this year, I think that played a huge role in allowing us to do so, was that familiarity and comfortability amongst the team, and not only that, but myself. And then I think it showed on the performance throughout the state tournament. It's year two. Um, it was a lot less installing this year and a lot more reviewing and perfecting and executing, and I think that showed.
No, I think one of the things everybody kind of talked about from last year into this year was 3-point shooting, and it was kind of interesting. I think you guys probably shot your fewest 3-pointers these last two games. I think you ended up with 14 in all, but you guys are very efficient at it. And I think one thing that it kind of showed was that you guys do have the potential, and teams had to defend that, and they couldn't just pack it in and try to make you guys shoot jump shots and everything. As the season went along, how big was that? Just the ability to hit out, perimeter shots to force teams out.
Oh, it was huge. I mean, you saw it in the championship game with Robertson's game plan of, truthfully, they weren't even guarding a couple of our guys out there. But just a matter of, like you said, having to space the floor, and actually people have to respect that. It just opens up what we truly like to do, which is get inside. That's obviously strength. Everybody knows that. We know that. We play to our strengths. Teams try to take away our strength. Credit to them for that, right? But we're never going to be we're just going to sit out there and light it up, especially right now with our size. We do have some young guys coming up that can really shoot the ball pretty well. But that's just not the strength of our team. And truthfully, that's not my mindset as a coach. I think the best shot in basketball is the easiest shot in basketball. And in my opinion, the closer you get, the easier it is. Right. So I don't think that'll ever change, regardless of if we have dudes that can just light it up or not. I think within the structure of the offense, the more times you can get inside and break down the defense, just the easier and more wide open those threes and those perimeter shots become. So that's our mindset. That's our goal. The boys really buy into that, and that's how I coach.
And to that end, you had enormous size. During the tournament, I was sitting with a couple of the Albuquerque media guys, and they were surprised at how big you were, the length you have, and really, in a lot of ways, you're as big as any 5A team out there, which is a luxury for a school with the enrollment of basically a 2A school. Yeah. But I mean, you had to just feel blessed with the personnel that you had on hand there, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of good size, a lot of good athletes, and at the end of the day, a lot of really good kids. Like I said in my other interview, I don't know exactly how it happened, how all these guys got together about the same time. We're actually kind of lucky and that they're spaced a little bit. We had a couple seniors in there with some size. This year or next year we'll have their juniors that are some good sized kids, and then we got a couple sophomores that have some decent size. We're still looking for that, hopefully, with our young guys, but it's spaced out relatively evenly, so we're not losing it all at once, which is real nice. But I just, definitely blessed. It's hard to say how we're able to accommodate that. I know most of these guys, if not all of them, have been attended St. Mike since middle school. Just I know. I mean, I don't know. Blessed. That's the main thing I could say is that was a strength of ours, and we were lucky to have it. But at the same time, we knew it and we played to it.
A couple of guys I wanted to mention just because of the way they played, especially over the last few weeks. I thought Dylan McCoy just really came up big in some key games there down the stretch, and even in the championship game. I mean, 20 points. He's been really consistent about that. And then Ryan, I think, finally started getting his rhythm and that consistency back that he had before he got hurt and everything. Just for those two guys to really step up for these last 2 or 3 weeks, that's got to be huge for you.
No, absolutely. We knew going into this season, Dylan was a huge huge piece to what we wanted to accomplish and how we need to accomplish it, especially well, yeah, his size and his athleticism, but the way he shoots the ball and handles the ball as kind of like a point guard. I mean, he had to play point guard for us a few times, especially down the stretch whenever we needed Kamal needed a break or he was in foul trouble, something like that. So he just brought a lot of, you said it, consistency, versatility, yes. Especially the way he stretched teams and he could get a shot off. He's one of the guys on our team that you could give him the ball and he could get his own shot, whether it was a three or whether he can attack. He had a really good mid range, but what I really liked about him the most was he wasn't settling for that mid range as much as he was earlier in the year, and he was just really just using his body, using his physicality, and get into the rim, which I think opened up a ton for everybody else. And then yeah, Ryan's Ryan. He's steady. He plays hard. Anytime you play hard, most of the time good things happen. And that's Ryan's motto. That's his MO, is just play your butt off, play the game the right way, and a lot of the times you get rewarded. And so we couldn't be more prouder of those guys. Um, Ryan and all the adversity he battled throughout the year, and it wasn't easy. He wasn't even fully healed when he's playing for us. So just anything that he was able to provide for us was a benefit. And then yeah, Dylan McCoy, just he's a pillar of consistency.
Well, that was our abruptly cut off interview with Dakota Montoya. I'd like to tell you what else we talked about there, but I can't quite remember it. I do remember something about the cure for cancer, but that's something that's lost to the ether. So hopefully we can find that someday, and then we can bestow it upon you. But as we say, that is show business sometimes, especially when you're doing podcasts. We will see you guys next week with another scintillating episode. Hopefully, we'll have a guest as well, maybe even a couple. But regardless, we hope you enjoyed what you heard and listened to today. And we thank you for your time, and we'll see you all next week.